Hello, Algebra 1A. Today we continue with 8-7 where we will be factoring. And if you think about how we factored 2 weeks ago with factoring by grouping, and then how we factored last week where you made the table, we're going to be doing both of those this week in the same problem. So it's going to be pretty intense. It's kind of difficult, but I believe in you guys. Also, I'll be offering this as a live lecture on Wednesday again, so come see me if you have any questions. So let's jump in with an example. The issue I'm going to run into today is, once again, I have a number outside of the x squared. Now, last week I said that's no big deal, just divide everything by 7. But that only works if everything evenly divides by 7. And 29 does not evenly divide by 7, neither does 4. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the table method to start with. And it starts off the same, okay? I'm going to add to the middle number. First of all, make sure it's in the right order. X squared, then the x, then the normal number. Okay, and then the middle number is what I add to. So adding to 29. What's going to change is the number that I'm multiplying to. So instead of multiplying to the 4, you're going to take 7 times 4 and use that number. So 7 times 4 is 28. For the purposes of your table, I want to find a number that multiplies to 28. And then I start at the same. 1 times what is 28? And it would be 28. So that works. Does that add to 29? It sure does. And then that's where our table similarities stop. Okay, you are not going to just put it in parentheses, hunky-dory, you're all done. Instead, now we're going to factor by grouping. But first we have to get that set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down the 7x squared. Then I will be uncombining like terms. I'll be using these numbers right here when I do that. And what I'm going to have is plus 1x plus 28x. Okay, and the reason I call that uncombining like terms, well, if you took 1x plus 28x, you would get 29x. So I've uncombined the like terms there. And you're going to see why in a minute. It's going to help me out. And then last but not least, I'm going to add the 4 on the end, and the 4 just came from the top equation there. So from here, I can now do my factor by grouping. I want you to group the first 2 terms together and the second 2 terms together. And then ask yourself, what can I take out? And on the first one, it looks like I can take out an x, which leaves me with what? 7x squared, take away an x is 7x. 1x, take away x is 1. Let's see, then I can divide out of 28 and 4. What's the biggest number that divides out of both? Looks like a 4 to me. And that's going to leave me with 28 divided by 4 is 7. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Hey, what do you notice? These are the exact same. And so again, like when we factored by grouping, we talked about how this is really fancy combining like terms. So I drop down the x. I drop down the 4. Since it's positive, it's going to be plus 4. That's my first set of parentheses. And then drop down the 7x plus 1. And again, you only write it the one time. And that's your final answer. If I wanted to, I could distribute or that bad 4-letter F word, FOIL, and I would find out that hopefully I end up in the exact same spot. And if I do that, then I know that I got the answer correctly. So here we go. I foiled. Now I'm combining like terms. Check it out. Did I end up where I started? I sure did. That means that I factored correctly. Woohoo! I'll do one more example here. And just so that you kind of have another idea, let me pull a problem up here. And let's see. Separate that. So next, let's try 3x squared. Oops, try that again. Okay, 3x squared minus 6x minus 45. Okay, so again, I notice that I have a number here, and that complicates things. Now this time you can actually divide everything by 3, but if you do that, again, you're going to have to make sure you keep that 3 on the outside all the way down. Most people will lose that 3. So here's what I'm going to show you to do. Take this 3, multiply it by the 45, just like we did last time. So what adds to negative 6, but multiplies to negative, is that what, 135? Now you might need to grab a calculator here. I've got my phone handy so that I can do this. And I'm saying, okay, 1 times what is negative 135? And that would be negative 135. However, that does not add. 2 does not evenly divide, so I'm not even going to go there. Let's see, 3 is going to be, plug that in my calculator. Oh, that was silly. It's going to be negative 45. However, that does not add. Because this is an odd number, oops, nothing even is going to evenly go into it. So I'm going to skip 4 and I'm going to go straight to 5. So 135 divided by 5 is 27. I'm sorry, negative, but that still doesn't add. So let's try a 7. Turns out 7 is an awkward number. It's a decimal, so I don't want that. If I try 9, that gives me a negative 15. And hey, bingo, that one does add. So that one took a little longer to figure out, but that was okay. And so now I'm going to do 3x squared, see if I can squeeze this in, plus 9x minus 15x minus 45. Kind of squeeze that in. There we go. Okay, if I want to factor by grouping, I'm going to group these ones here. And say, what can I take out? Well, it looks like I could take out a 3x from the first one. And that leaves me with an x plus 3. And on the second one, it looks like I could take out, I think, a negative 15. That's going to leave me with an x plus 15 times 3 is 45. Like so. And it looks like they're the same, so that's pretty cool. So that's going to leave me with 3x minus 15 as the first parentheses, and the second one as x plus 3. Now, by all means, like last time, I should be done, but I want you to always double check real quick. Can either one of those parentheses be simplified even farther? So as I look at this parenthesis, yeah, there's nothing that can be taken out. I think it's good. But what about this one? Look, I can take a 3 out of that. 3x minus 5 and x plus 3. That is going to be my final answer. So this will be on Delta Math, and let me know if you have any questions. Again, I will offer this as a live video lecture on Wednesday.